right, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 336. Once again for episode 182 of the 815 Exchange. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listen, the conference championships was a madness in the NFL, and I have people based off what I posted yesterday asking me, they were ready for the segment yesterday. All right, so we here. So of course we got that to talk about in the main event. We had scoring Fiesta number 2 in the NBA, which I'm actually going to kick us off with. Had some stuff to talk about in college basketball. The weekly chaos. Had to give a little checkup for the weekly chaos, and we had some music drop in entertainment. And of course, the Australian Open came to its own very interesting conclusion. So yes, plenty to talk about this week in sports and entertainment. As always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And as always, timestamps are provided below. There in the description, and they are also embedded in the video. Feel free to skip ahead, even though this video probably won't be too overtly long, but feel free to skip ahead wherever you feel the need to. Or if there's like a specific segment you came for, feel free to go to that. And my social media links are provided in the description as well. So if you want to follow my social medias, you can do that. Or if you stay around to the outro, do there too. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I said we won't kick it off with the NBA. We don't often do that. Normally we do college basketball or the fight game or, something else. Soccer, But today, we're going to start off with the NBA because, ladies and gentlemen, scoring Fiesta 2. I listen, I don't know if it's just people are more talented. I don't know if the pace is increased, but it's getting crazy out here. All right, the scoring is getting crazy out here. It is getting crazy, and I don't think it's specifically the defense, but whatever. The pace of play is just different. All right, the final score to this game, before we even talk about what Luka did, was 148 to 143. I don't know what Trae Young did. I don't know what Devin Booker, by the way, who we're going to talk about after this. I don't know what Book did to Luka. All right, to Luka always has to go off against Trae Young. Or if he's going against Book in some type of competitive fashion. I don't know what it is. But that just brings out the best in Luka. And we had the absolute best game of Luka Doncic's career here. 73 points for Luka. A career high, obviously, as he joins the 70-point club and the second man to score 70 this year, joining Joel Embiid. This was very reminiscent of that week 2 weeks ago. But yeah, we'll talk about that. This is the most efficient 70-point game of all time. 25 for 33, 15 for 16 from the free throw line. Luka was magic. All right, simply put, Luka was magic in this game. He could not be stopped. He single-handedly put that Dallas team on his back and said we were winning at all costs. And simply put, nobody on the Hawks could stop him. Nobody. I mean everything. All three levels. Just even the free throws, like I said, the most efficient 70-point game in history. Just he could not be stopped. He was on a completely different level than everybody else in this game. So yeah, shout out to Luka. 73, absolutely insane. So yeah, Trae Young, 30 and 11 in this game, by the way, right? Trae had a very good by the way, who might not even make an All-Star team once again. Was great. Was great in this game. It's just that, Luka scored, like I said, 73. Trae has been great. He's been great this year. It's just all these other guards just continue to take the attention, despite the fact that he's putting up all-star numbers. But yeah, Trae was hooping. Hell, Jalen Johnson had 25. DeJounte Murray had 22, 5, and 7, but it was not enough. Like I said, Dallas puts 148 enough. Over half of that almost was Luka. And yeah, Luka Magic, different breed. And speaking of Book, like I said earlier, the scoring Fiesta was really between three men. Jalen Green had 36, by the way. I'm not going to cover this. But Jalen Green had 36 this same day through 3 quarters. Really could have dropped a 40 or 50 bomb on the Hornets, but they basically pulled him because the game was so lopsided. They pulled him for the entire fourth quarter. The Rockets did. But while Luka was doing that, Devin Booker goes and drops 62 for the Suns versus the Pacers. But ladies and gentlemen, he played the role of Cat. If Luka was Embiid, Book was Cat, all right? Because he got 62 in an L. I don't know how you score 60 points in a loss. I would be disgusted. All right, the Pacers beat them 133 to 131. By the way, very similar to how Cat took that last shot airballed a couple weeks ago. Book also had 62, took the last shot, airballed. So, yeah, just it was very reminiscent. The Kentucky connect. I guess it was the UK connection, you know what I mean, between Cat and Book, scoring 60, taking the L, missing the final shot. I don't know. Of course, this loss is not on him. If you score 62 points, then it's very hard to say the loss is on you. He went 22 for 37, 12 from 13 from the free throw line. So, still a very efficient day. Even though he almost took 40 shots, still a very efficient day overall for Devin Booker. Pascal Siakam has been a great trade for the Pacers. And they're doing this without Halliburton, by the way. They won this game without Holly. Reese is over here watching the Royal Rumble with us. Okay? He injured. The Pacers have still been hooping. When they get him back with the way that Siakam has played this year, that could be a very, very dangerous Indiana team. And we saw what they did in the in-season tournament. That could be a very, very dangerous Pacers team. Siakam had 31, 7, and 4. Andrew Nembhard continues to be a fantastic draft pick for them. 22 and 8. He stepped up big time in this game. Aaron Naismith had 22 as well. But yeah, listen, like I said before I intro the segment, I don't know if it's the pace of play. I don't know if it's just we have these uniquely talented players and the talent level and the scoring potential of the league is, the highest it's been, which is true. Or if it's, necessary rule changes, or if it's the emphasis of the three. I don't know what it is. Scoring's been up, and 70 is becoming a mark. 60 is becoming a mark, that is looking more attainable for players. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Scoring Fiesta 5, or Scoring Fiesta 2, should I say, on Friday was ridiculous. And that still wasn't, either one of those games, as ridiculous as they were, as good as they were, weren't even the best game of the week. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Steph and Bron had one more classic for us. Before they go off into the sunset, they had at least one more classic Steph-Bron matchup for us. The Lakers took on Golden State in a matchup that a lot of people, if you just look at the records, why in the hell is this in primetime on ABC? They showed you exactly why it's on primetime Saturday night on ABC. Because, my God, 2 overtimes. It took 2 overtimes for the Lakers to take down the Warriors 145 to 144 in one of the games of the year, if not the game of the year. It was fantastic. Golden State pushed it to overtime twice in regulation. Then, in the first overtime, I believe Clay actually both times may have hit the shot, I think, to send it to the next period. But anyways, fantastic game. Bron had 36 at 39 years old, 36, 20, and 12. Career high in rebounds at 39. The only other person I think this old with a 20 rebound game I think I saw was Mutombo. Ridiculous. I'm not going to outright call him the GOAT because, I know that's a very touchy subject, obviously. But man, once in a lifetime. All right, Bron, King James, still the king. Still the king. AD, by the way, had 29 and 13 in this game. He was fantastic. Some people want him to be the all-star starter over Bron, but, you'll get no argument from me. I think Bron's been playing well enough to get, well-deserved that 20th all-star appearance, which he did, in fact, get. I think we talked about that last week. D'Lo played very well for most of this game. For a large portion of this game, D'Angelo Russell played very, 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 very well. Of course, there's been a lot of trade rumors circulating his name recently, but deloading was very, very good. Fell apart a little bit. You could sense he was starting to think about it too much, which is a terrible, terrible thing for D'Angelo to do when he starts overthinking his play and he falls out of rhythm. And that happened a little bit in that overtime period, made a couple mistakes, but overall, very good game for him. He had 28. Chef Curry had 46, okay? The chef was cooking. He was cooking. He did enough, but unfortunately, it was not enough. He did have 46, though, like I said. Clay had 24, like I said, makes some clutch shots, but he was horrifically inefficient. 9 for 24 in this game. 6 for 17 from 3. You can't do that. You can't do that. 11 missed threes. 11, that's rough, buddy. That's rough. Even with somebody, even taking it to the college game, we're going to talk about Caitlin, of course, as always. Or actually, no, we aren't even going to talk about Caitlin, so I'll talk about it here. Even with Caitlin taking the volume of threes of something similar to what she would do, Clay's stat line here, it's a lot more efficient, right? Clay has to be more efficient. I know we've been saying he's washed, but even in these moments when he does have these spurts, you need him to be more efficient. He's more efficient. This was a 1-point game. Warriors could have won this, but the efficiency was not there. They had a couple other people in double figures. I think Kamingo had over 20 as well. He's had a much better run the past couple weeks, looking like he might be turning that corner potentially. But like I said, man, Warriors, unfortunately, it was not enough. King James and the Lakers reign. But thank you to two of the best of this generation, arguably the two best of this generation, for at least one more instant classic. College basketball. All right, college hoops. We're starting off with hoops back to back. All right, back to back. And we're going to talk about the Duke Blue Devils, ladies and gentlemen. Because boy, oh boy, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. If you thought I was going to be like, yo, we beat Clemson, we're back and winning with. No, we are in trouble. Because my birthday is next Sunday, by the way. So if you want to, send me presents, feel free to. Send me a happy birthday text. Feel free to. But the day before that, on February 3rd, we play Carolina. And I don't think with the way that Carolina is playing right now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Not that we can't beat Carolina, but I don't think we are. I don't think we are. We do not look anywhere near their realm right now. Sure, we beat Clemson by 1 point. We came through in the clutch. Proctor drew the foul, which was a foul. I don't know why he hit his arm. I know there's the, Duke always has the refs, blah, 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 blah. It was a foul. It was objectively a foul. I don't know why that wasn't controversial. I don't know why Joseph Girard, of, former Balls Life fame, wanted to fight the refs after the game. Bro, it was a foul. It was a foul. All right, I don't know what to tell you. Even if it was reversed, if it was a Carolina game, I still would have said, yo, that was a foul on RJ Davis. So I don't know what the big deal was, but Tyrese goes, ball doesn't lie, hits both free throws, we win the game, yada yada yada. PJ Hall's upset, Clemson's upset, but we won. All right, don't foul him in that situation if you didn't want to lose that way. But beating Clemson for what Duke is supposed to be, unacceptable. By one. Come on now. Jared McCain him and Proctor were the only bright spots on this team Saturday. McCain, 21, best freshman on the team. And been one of the best freshmen, I think, in the country. Got a little bit under the radar, but man, the scoring potential has certainly translated very well for McCain. He's been phenomenal. I don't care what he paints his nails. Y'all are so weird for making a big deal out of that. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, McCain had 21 in this game. Proctor at 18, like I said, hits the clutch free throws, comes through. He's been great. Reese, I think 42 points in the last two games. He's looked like that guy that we thought, man, he might be a lottery pick earlier in the year. He's looked like that guy lately. So yeah, that's big. Huge for us. Flip's got to get it together. You can't be 20 and 10 Flip one game, and then I just fouled out of the game, Flip the next. We need All-American Flip. He has not been an All-American this year. He has not been that guy. He needs to be that guy on a more consistent basis. He should be dominated with his talent, with his capabilities, but for whatever reason, it has not clicked and it has been detrimental to this Duke team. Ryan Young, with all due respect, needs to go be a family man. He don't got it no more. He just don't got it. All right, he don't got it. He gets eaten alive defensively, and his offensive bag is not Drew Timmy level for what he's supposed to be. Duke is in trouble. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a win. Thankful we won and we didn't take another L, but we are in trouble. Clemson, get over yourselves. You'll be fine. PJ, Gerard, listen, relax. You'll be fine. Don't foul if you don't want to lose. Iowa State takes out Kansas. We've talked about Kansas a lot lately because they just get upset every week. They either beat a top 10 team or they get upset, and here they got upset. Iowa State gets the win 79-75. Trey King has 21 and 9. Hunter Dickinson had 20 and 15, but it did not matter in the end because Iowa State had control. They had control of this game. It was one of those games where you just felt, similar to Kansas' last L, where you just felt it. It was one of those. You were like, yep, there's something different in the air today. Just a little something different in the air. And it was that voodoo apparently for Kansas because, they take the L. Iowa State shot 47% from three. I think it was 46.7 was the exact, but 47% from three. That's not gonna be beat. When they take as many threes as they did, you're really gonna be hard pressed to win a game when the team that you're playing shoots almost 50% from three. That's rough. I mean, that's rough. That's even less of bad perimeter defense, and even more of Iowa State was just shooting the lights out. And they shot the lights out on Kansas, and they get a huge upset. They were already a ranked team. This is going to vault them a little bit higher. So yeah, shout out to Iowa State getting a huge win. That's going to do them a lot of good as we get closer and closer to tournament time. Let's talk about the women, of course. The most watched game of the year in college basketball was a women's game, which really shouldn't be surprising because, like I've said many times, and like y'all started to realize, all of the stars are in the women's game. So we had South Carolina versus LSU, the super team versus the actual number one team. And really, LSU at home should have won this game. But they didn't. 76-70, Scar gets it done thanks to Bree Hall hitting two huge. She did not play a great game, but she hit absolutely monumental shots down the stretch, two huge threes to really put the dagger in LSU's chest. They were kind of finished. After Angel fouled out, who was playing a very good game against Camila, probably the best game I've seen her play against Camila or against another elite big, whether it was Aaliyah or Camila, like that was the best game I've seen Angel play against one of them. In her career so far, she looked like what Angel Reese is supposed to be. She looked like the far superior big. Very impressive performance from Angel, but the problem is she fouled out. 4, that was on Haley, who we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about HBL. 4 was on a Haley. Shouldn't have put Angel in that situation. The 5th one, you cannot. You are a superstar, darling. You cannot. I know giving up the shot, I know it's just your natural inclination to try to challenge that. But do not, in a game this big, in which you change, you flip the coin, you move the needle for your team, you cannot foul out in that situation. Yeah, sometimes you gotta, we're gonna talk about with the Lions later on in the NFL. You gotta know when to fold them. That was a part where she should have folded a little bit. Just to fight another day because they needed her offensively down the stretch. I don't know why Mulkey doesn't run more through Anissa Morrow, who had a phenomenal game. I almost called this, I think I said on Twitter, this is the Anissa Morrow game. And if they'd have won, it would have been the Anissa Morrow game because she was unstoppable. 16-10 in this game, and it really could have been more. It could have been more. If they'd have ran the offense to her a little bit more, it could have been a very special game for Anissa Morrow because she was giving South Carolina all types of matchup problems. She was in her bag for fully. HBL only had 3 turnovers, but they were 3 very costly turnovers. Very costly. This was by far not her worst game, but those turnovers were killers. Absolute killers down the stretch. She's just not, and we said it before, she's just not a true point guard. And she still has not, over the 4 years she's been here, she has not developed into one, and I don't know if she's going to. I don't know if that's her game. That just might not be Haley. And a lot of the things I've talked about with HBL really reared their head in this game. Where if Haley was who she's supposed to be, who people expect her to be, and this elite scorer, LSU wins this game. Because she makes some of those big shots, which she did. But she also had moments where it was like, yeah, she's just not that girl. She's just not that girl. If she was an elite scorer, they win this game. She makes some of the shots. She takes some of that load after Angel goes away. But she's just not an elite shot maker. She's talented, but she's not an elite shot maker. And that reared its head. She's not a good playmaker. That also reared its head. All of her fallings just kind of came back to haunt LSU a little bit in this game. The team makeup came up to haunt them. South Carolina has a team. All right, Chloe Kitts had a breakout game. 14 points for Chloe. Looking every bit the 5-star that she was coming out of high school. This was a team effort. Camila did not look like Camila, right? She didn't look like the star that, the top 5 pick she might be. She didn't look like that. This was South Carolina and Dog Staley coming together as a team, coming together as one of the best coaches to ever do it, and beating a very, very good LSU team. Probably not going to be the last time they match up, but for now, the number 1 team, and still. That wasn't the only primetime ranked matchup, all right, in women's college basketball this week. Wasn't the only one. Because UConn had, I don't know, I guess it's because they're playing Notre Dame, but they had everybody. And I mean, everybody. Sue, Diana, hell, I think I saw Maya there. They had every national championship team getting celebrated for this game. I think DT called Paige the best player in college basketball the day before. I mean, all of the hype. This should have been the crowning ceremony, right? Paige Beckers is going to show Hannah Hidalgo and Notre Dame that UConn is back. UConn is back, and she is the superstar that's going to sit amongst all of these other greats that are in attendance. That's what this game was supposed to be. That is not what happened. No. Notre Dame walks into UConn, walks into Connecticut, and y'all have heard the phrase, walk in your trap, take over your trap. Hannah Hidalgo walked into UConn's trap, Paige Beckers' trap, and took over. The freshman made a statement. A statement that maybe, just maybe, even though Juju is, the star, the number one, and we're going to talk about Juju and what she did this week, maybe Hannah Hidalgo is the freshman of the year. 23. Actually, that's not right. She had 30 in this game. 30 plus. I think she had 34 points in this game. 11 assists. Hannah Hidalgo, ladies and gentlemen. Take a bow. She didn't even have any steals, by the way, which is crazy. All right, crazy for her, who averages, I think, 5+ steals a game. But here we are. Hidalgo, incredible performance. Could not be stopped. Clutch back. Clutch baskets down the stretch for Notre Dame and for the Fighting Ivy she had. She has looked like the best freshman in the country. And I'm going to be honest, one of the best players in the country. She's absolute silk. All right. She is silk with the ball in her hand. She is a weapon. All right. Westball, by the way, had 23 in this game. Aaliyah Edwards did her thing. She looked like she wanted to walk amongst the icons at UConn. She had 23 and 11 in this game. But Paige. I love Paige. She's going to be a great player. Probably a top 3 pick in the draft coming up. Still a star. I'm glad that she still remained such a great player, even with all the injuries that, you can say may have or could have set her back quite a bit in her development, but she's still, one of the top 3 players in the country. She shot 5 for 17 in this game. Can't happen. Can't happen in a game this big against an opponent like Notre Dame. It cannot happen, and it happened. All right, Paige had an awful game. For her standards, and it was costly. Because this UConn team really, I mean, they have Aaliyah Edwards, and she's a star, but Paige is the focal point. This team runs through Paige, and with Paige having such an inefficient game, having such a down shooting game, it was detrimental. All right, it was detrimental, and with the way that Hidalgo was playing in that matchup, it was never going to happen. UConn made a little bit of a comeback, but at the end, Hidalgo and Notre Dame just pulled away and walk into UConn. And like I said, walk in your trap, take over your trap. Hannah Hidalgo is one of them ones. Washington, USC. Let's talk about the other great freshman, because she had a very Paige-esque game, and I don't mean that in a good way. Schwartz had 21 for Washington as they knock off the Trojans 62-59. Juju. She had 19, but not a good way, boys. 8 for 27. She had 19 points, but she also had 19 missed shots. Rough. That's been the one hallmark, the one downside, the one thing she has not done well. She hasn't been as efficient as you want your star player to be. She's surprisingly shooting pretty decent from 3. It's just her field goal percentage is in the 42, which is not good for someone that, has as much volume as Juju has, right? To be fair, like I said, and like people saying, she's a freshman, right? She's gonna have growing pains, and if this is the lowest, the worst we're gonna see Juju, then boy, oh boy, we got a special player to watch for the next couple years. But nonetheless, you want your superstar to be much better here than she was in this game. But yeah, horrifically inefficient game for Juju. Ends up being costly for SC. Washington gets the win. Wazoo took on UCLA, and it replicated the game between the rivals. It replicated as well. 85-82, Wazoo gets the win. Bella Murakite had 20 and 7. Vila had 18. CLW had 17. Kiki Rice had 25, 5, and 6, and normally that's a winning formula for UCLA and for the Bruins, but it was not. It was not on this day. Like I said, Washington beat USC, so guess what? Wazoo's going to beat UCLA, and that's exactly what happened. Charisma Osborne continues to play great, by the way. She's been phenomenal. Really stepped up recently. She had 20. Now, no Lauren Betts for UCLA. That's a massive loss. She leads them in rebounds and in points. Potential All-American this year. former number 1 overall recruit in that class with Kiki Rice. But still a very winnable game for UCLA that they're going to want to have back. Not the end of the world, but yeah, Wazoo, congratulations. They get the big win. The chaos continues in college basketball. Entertainment. No TV shows, though I will say I started watching Ted Lasso finally. I'm in love. I'm actually addicted. All right, I'm addicted to Ted Lasso. If I had no obligations to, do work, that I would probably just sit in my room and watch and just run through Ted Lasso. All right, I would just go on a spree. But I do have other obligations, like the show, and like other things I have to do. So unfortunately, I can't do that. But Ted Lasso certainly living up to the hype. But like I said, we have music this week. The Butcher is coming. Yeah. Woo! Everybody Can Go. That's very true. And that song, by the way, was also fire. Everybody Can Go by the Butcher Man himself, Benny. All right, Benny the Butcher dropped his album, Everybody Can Go. Very good. Very good. I'm going to give it an 8.3. I'm going to give it an 8.3. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's going to be the best of Butch necessarily, but still, it was a very good album. I enjoyed the majority of it. It was only 13 songs. I think he went 12 for 13. Only song I wasn't really rocking with was the last one. I wasn't really rocking with the modern sound. He was kind of in the pocket with the normal Griselda stuff, and I was enjoying that. So that, by the way, speaking of one of my standout songs was the Griselda Express, also Buffalo Kitchen Club, and the aforementioned Everybody Can't Go song. He did a great job with his feature list. That is one thing I wanted to say. He did a fantastic job that he did with his feature list, and the features came on, did their thing, contributed to the songs. There was not a single wasted feat on this entire album. Hell, even Snoop came back and gave a good contribution to this album. So yeah, 8.3 for the Butch. Griselda. I've been getting into him more and more this past year, and I get why y'all have held them in such high regard, for a very, very long time. West Side. Still got Cooks dropped a song called Kenny Omega that I want to listen to. Shout out to the wrestling fans. Royal Rumble was this past week. I saw West Side Gun there. But yeah, Everybody Can Go, 8.3. Butcher was here. He did what he does. Justin Timberlake. I'm actually a Timberlake fan. All right, I'm actually a Timberlake fan. Future Sex Love Sounds, I think I've said it before on this podcast, by the way, is a great album. All right, a legendary album, 30 for 30 experience. Also, a late album. Hell, the first one, Justified. Fantastic album, all right? Timberlake makes good music, okay? I know the Jada stuff, which he was forgiven for, so I don't know what. Anyways. Britney stuff, all right, y'all can have it. But anyways, he dropped a song called Selfish. He was also on SNL. But I only talk about Selfish. It was solid. I missed some of that Timberland JT. We've been getting a lot of crooning the past couple of years, which a lot of people haven't really liked. The more crooning, super soulful JT, and it seems like that's what this album's going to be. So we'll see. But yeah, Selfish. It was solid. It was solid. I think it made the playlist. So, but nothing crazy. Nothing that's the best of Timberlake. But yeah, something solid. And yeah, that was music for the week. Giotto dropped an album today, so we'll react to that in the reaction videos in the coming week. But yeah, that was entertainment. Which, of course, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the main event of the evening. The NFL. The NFL. The NFL. The NFL. And ladies and gentlemen, what a conference championship week it was. What a conference championship week it was. So let's get to it. The Chiefs and the Ravens, ladies and gentlemen. The Chiefs and the Ravens. The entire world was rooting for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Everybody outside of the city of Kansas City, Missouri, and the Swifties around the world. Everybody was rooting for the Baltimore Ravens. They were talking about Lamar Jackson like Chris Jericho. I think it was literally save us, instead of save us Y2J, it was save us LJ8. And once again, similar to Buffalo last week, it was the perfect situation. It was the ideal situation, right? The ideal situation. Number 1 seed, MVP Lamar Jackson. Number 1 defense, in Baltimore. We got Ed Reed in the building. We got Ray Lewis in the building. We got T Sizzle in the building. We got everybody that's anybody from Baltimore in the building. We got people around the world putting money on Baltimore to knock off the Kings. Well, you know how the saying goes, ladies and gentlemen. If you come at the King, you best not miss. And ladies and gentlemen, the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, oh, they missed. Boy, did they miss. I mean, it was a series of misses yesterday. I don't know, I don't know if it was the lights were too bright or what it was. But everything that could go wrong for the Baltimore Ravens, except defensively, went wrong for them offensively. I mean, I don't know if it was Todd. I don't know if it was Lamar. I don't know who you want to put the blame on, but something went averse. Something went averse for the Ravens, and it just all came falling down. And ladies and gentlemen, I come to you once again with the Kansas City Chiefs, still the undisputed champions of the American Football Conference. Lamar. You know what? Before we even talk about the Ravens, let's talk about the Chiefs, all right, and what they did right. Pat went 30 for 39, 241, and 1 touchdown. It was a solid game. He didn't do too much. Honestly, they didn't even score a point in the second half. Not a single point. He did what he had to do. Didn't turn the ball over and was Pat Mahomes. Controlled the game in his greatness. And you know what? We've said countless times with this Chiefs offense, which, by the way, I'm not going to say that this is the worst Chiefs roster. I feel like that's disrespectful to the defense. I'm going to be honest. So I'm not going to keep saying that. This is the worst offensive roster they've had, but I'm not going to keep saying, that, because at this point, they made the Super Bowl. All right, we're not going to be in the hole. I'm retracting those statements. They have earned my respect. All right, this roster has earned my respect. But this offense, I mean, let's be honest. They have 3 players besides the offensive line, which I give credit to. They have Patrick Mahomes, one of the greatest to ever do it. Travis Kelce, one of the greatest to ever do it. Isaiah Pacheco, solid running back. And I guess half of Rashee Rice when he's on. Besides that, it's hot garbage. But that's all you need. Apparently, that's all you need, all right? You need an all-time great quarterback and tight end combo, a solid RB, and a receiver that you can throw to occasionally. Because that's all you need. That is all you need to win a Super Bowl, potentially. All right? Travis Kelce with an all-time performance. 11 receptions on 11 targets. 116 and a touchdown for Killer Trav, with T Swift also in the building, as always. Travis Kelce, one of the great. I know a lot of people were up in arms about his taunting and the calls, which we're going to talk about. But, I didn't really care. I'm going to be honest, I really don't care. He is him. He's done this for years. I don't know why y'all also... Actually, I know exactly why you don't like him. It's because he's dating Taylor Swift. And y'all hate the attention. He's been the same player his entire career, and he's been the same Hall of Fame caliber tight end for years and years and years and years. And I know a lot of people, even I thought, man, maybe this is the fall off. Well, no fall off here. Still Travis Kelce, dominant. I mean, dominant in this game. Isaiah Pacheco also, like I said, he had a touchdown. So for any of you on Prize Picks, you did get that green. L'Jarius Sneed had the play of the game. This Chiefs defense has earned my respect. They have been phenomenal this entire year, but I don't think you really could encompass their greatness until you watched yesterday's game and the way they shut down the Ravens. And no play was a bigger indictment on how great this Chiefs defense has been than L'Jarius Sneed, who's been a lockdown corner this year, comes across the field, Zay Flowers, to put the Ravens back in the game on the goal line, on the 1 yard line, and Sneed pulls out a Peanut Tillman, knocks the ball out, touchback. Chiefs get the ball. Ravens fans' hearts are broken. Sneed, he's been great all year. I'm giving him his flowers. A phenomenal, the play of the game against the Ravens and for the Chiefs. Right there, just changed the entire game. Completely kills the Ravens' momentum, and that was pretty much all she wrote. Could have made it 17-14, but yeah, like I said, that just kind of put it to bed. Justin Reed, George Kafalitis also played phenomenal games and have been great all year for the Chiefs. Like I said, that defense, phenomenal performance. Lamar Jackson, 272, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The issue I have is that somewhere along the lines, after years of people saying, yo, Lamar needs to throw more. Lamar needs to be more of a thrower. He needs to be more of a passer. And look where we are. Is this what you wanted? Is this what you wanted? Because one of the reasons the Ravens did not win this game is because Todd Monken, or if it was just Lamar and his psyche, abandoned the run. The number one running team, rush offense in the league, bar maybe Detroit, abandons the run in their time of need. With time on the clock, it wasn't like there was 1 minute to go, you got to throw it. They had time in a close game. We've seen Lamar, who averages in the playoffs 13 yards a carry. Automatic first down just about. How many times have we seen him? He is the most dangerous runner on the planet. On the planet. And we got him dropping back, waiting like he's Pat or Caleb Williams. And then just throwing prayer balls like he's Jay Cutler. Like he forgot that he's Lamar Jackson. I don't care what people said. I don't care that you're not quarterbacking enough. I don't care about the questions about throwing. In that moment, Lamar Jackson needs to be Lamar Jackson because it is winning time. I don't care how you win. I don't care how you get it done. It's that you get it done. And to get it done, Lamar Jackson needed to be Lamar. But he was stuck playing somebody else's role. That was the issue. How many times, if you go back and watch some of that fourth quarter, a little bit of that third quarter, Lamar sat back there, took all those extra seconds, and fired out an incompletion when he could have gone one-on-one with a Chiefs defender who, with all due respect, cannot tackle him one-on-one and gotten the first down, gotten the necessary yardage. How many times in these moments, when the lights are bright, when you're down, when it's time to win, it is time to win by any tool you have in your shed. And Lamar Jackson, for whatever reason, Todd Monken, for whatever reason, the Ravens, for whatever reason, held off using their most dangerous weapon when it was time to go for the kill. And that is why they lost. That is why they lost. Credit where credit's due to Pat and Kelsey for doing what they had to do offensively. Credit where credit's due to the Chiefs offense for doing what was necessary. Or Chiefs defense, should I say. But the Ravens got gun shy. They listened to the talk, they listened to the chatter, and they didn't do what got them to the dance. What made them dangerous and what has made Lamar Jackson a bona fide superstar, potential Hall of Famer. They abandoned the run when they needed it. When they had to have it. When they had to have it. And that's a killer. That's a killer. Ravens defense played well. Like I said, they didn't give up a point in the second half. Got the necessary stops. Got them the ball back. Got the 3 and outs. Kyle Hamilton, for all that, Kelsey did and showed his greatness, Kyle Hamilton also showed, he's one of them ones. Undoubtedly one of them ones. Man had, what do you have in this game? 11 tackles, 1 TFL. All right, Kyle Hamilton was a monster. He is going to be a monster. God willing, he keeps his health over the next coming years. All right, he's going to be one of those special defensive talents. Roquan Smith even had 16 tackles. All right, won his best game, but he still had 16 tackles. That's of note. But when it mattered, the Ravens couldn't do what they did best. I don't know if it's the Chiefs' plot armor. I don't know if it's the voodoo. I don't know what it was, but when it mattered, the lights got too bright. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they did not show up. They did not show up, and they couldn't knock off the Kings. And now, a lot of people are talking about, pass interferences and keep showing a specific 3 clips. So I will talk about them. The Isaiah Likely, the one where Lamar threw into triple coverage, and the defender ran into Zay as the ball got picked off. You're not getting a PI for that. If you throw into triple coverage, you're not getting a PI for that, buddy. You're not. And it was a kind of a bang-bang in terms of him getting hit and the ball getting picked off. All right? So no, not a PI. The Odell one, sure. Little, hand fighting going on. Nothing too crazy. That's not the worst non-PI call I've seen. And you know what? Even as a receiver speaking, you gotta let the quarterbacks have a chance. They're allowed to touch us. That wasn't the most malicious, I've ever seen. And once again, Lamar put the ball out of bounds. And then, of course, we have the grab and again, Isaiah Likely falling down. Once again, Lamar threw the ball 15 yards out of bounds. He was throwing the ball away. So what? That, maybe that was a PI under normal circumstance. If Lamar puts that, you know what, in an area, then sure. I'm cool with a PI called there. But that wasn't even a catchable ball. So there's no reason for a PI to be called. So yeah, y'all can go on somewhere with it. It's not rigged, all right? It's not rigged. The Chiefs are just as good. You can have all the talent in the world, but you cannot teach a championship pedigree, and you cannot teach the talent that Andy Reid has. The intangibles that Andy Reid has. Talking about him like he's a player. Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches to ever do it. Put some respect on his name for getting it done. Once again, the Chiefs are a dynasty, and they showed why they are a dynasty. They take care of the Ravens and get the win. They are still the kings of the AFC. And Baltimore, hey, better luck next year. NFC was very, very, very similar. Very, very similar. Very similar. Yep, very similar. The Detroit Lions have been one of the top stories of the NFL this year. They have. Dan Campbell. Since the moment he arrived, January, I believe, 23rd, 2021, 3 years ago now. From the moment he arrived in Detroit, he established a culture, a do-or-die attitude. He said that this team was going to embody the grittiness, the grind, that savage nature of Detroit. That blue-collar work ethic of Detroit. And he's coached like it. He's drafted, picked up players that embody that. And that has elevated this team to the heights that we have seen them reach this year. But at a certain point, when it really matters and when you really want to be an elite team, you got to know when to expand out of your own philosophy. You got to know when to get out of your own way. Sometimes, as they say, you got to know when to fold them, know when to hold them, know when to walk away. And Dan Campbell has shown time after time after time after time this season that he does not know when to walk away. This man would hit on 21 if he was playing blackjack. I'm convinced. Because ample opportunity for the Detroit Lions to win this game. They were up 24-7, I believe, right? Ample opportunity. And they failed to do so, and San Fran came back and said, what do we say on 8:15? What do we say when you don't put teams away? They will come back to haunt you, and boy, did the 49ers come back to haunt the Lions as they get the win and advance to the Super Bowl 34-31. Oh my goodness. I understand going for fourth and going for the kill. I get it. But sometimes making the smart play is the right play. And Dan Campbell refused to make the smart play once again throughout this game. All right? You kick a field goal, it goes 27-14. Changes the game. Changes the nature of the game. The 49ers now, so what, they scored that touchdown. You still have that three-point cushion. Then you go down. Hell, you can go get another one. You still have that cushion. It's still a game. But by you missing, well, Chris Reynolds, by the way, who should be cut, with all due respect, should be cut after his performance yesterday, gets the drop, not on Goff, on Reynolds, drops it. 49ers go down the field. I think that was the play where it bounced off of my guy's helmet. Ayuk caught it and then got the touchdown, I think 3 plays later. Changes the game. Completely alters the game. Just get the field goal. You're up 10. Then again, get the ball back. Another situation. Could have made it. Could have tied the game. Right? Could have tied the game. Live to fight another day. Could have made it 24-24. What do? Or excuse me, 27-27. Yeah, 27-27. Instead of going for the field goal, what do? They go for it. They go for it. Again, for why? Why? For what reason? Sometimes you gotta know when to walk away. You gotta know when to live to fight another day. I get it. I get it. You built this culture and you have ridden it straight to the NFC Championship and beating the number one seed and arguably the Super Bowl favorites. You've ridden it here. You have stuck by your principles. You have stood on business all year. But you gotta know when it's winning time, man. You gotta know. You gotta know. And he did not make the right choices to win the game. He did not, and that ends up costing the Lions. And in his own words, you don't know if you're going to get back. You don't know. This Lions team doesn't know if they're going to get back. It's hard to get back. They have some of the young talent to do it, but not everybody's going to be here. Even the 49ers, who just got back, don't have the same makeup completely. Some of the core still, but they don't have the same makeup from when they lost to the Chiefs the first time. You don't know when you're going to get back. So to blow an opportunity in this fashion is horrific. For as great as Campbell has been for the Lions, Coach of the Year candidate, horrific job. Horrific job yesterday. I mean, it is hard to get over. Very hard to get over if I was a Lions fan. CMC, by the way, was phenomenal, though, for the 49ers, talking about some of the players. 132 and 2 touchdowns. Man had 90 yards and 2 touchdowns, 4 receptions, 42 yards. All right, CMC was CMC. But with the way Lamar played, he might swung some MVP votes his way. So, yeah, McCaffrey was McCaffrey, one of the best running back, let's be honest, of his generation. I'm going to just come out and say it, all right? It's pretty obvious at this point. He's that guy, all right? Deebo Samuel had 8 receptions and 89 yards, much to the dismay of CD Deuce, who was garbage in this game. Brock Purdy had 315, a touchdown, and a pick. It really could have been 3 picks in this game, but Purdy was good enough. And that's all that matters sometimes is being good enough. And Purdy has been good enough. He is by no means a bad quarterback, but he's not going to have like a legacy game at this point. Let's be real, all right? He's a good quarterback and perhaps even a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but let's not call him elite or one of the best young quarterbacks in the game because that's just not what he is, all right? He's very good in the system. He makes plays. He has some type of plot armor for luck. He's like Deadpool in a way, I guess. But yeah, Purdy, or should I say Domino, really, in terms of like a luck-based power. But yeah, Purdy does enough to win. Credit where credit's due. Bosa had 2 sacks. Fred Warner had 13 tackles. So the core showed up for the 49ers. Even when they were down, even when it was hopeless, they kept fighting. That's what a winning team does. That's what a championship team does. And yeah, they gave the Lions a lesson. You got to put teams away. Campbell and the Lions did not. Goff had 273 and 1. Monty had 93 and 1. J-Mo went off. He had a rushing touchdown and kicked off the game. Also had a receiving touchdown late. Sam Laporta could be all pro as a rookie. 9 receptions, 97 yards. ARSB, fight on. 7 receptions, 87 yards. Gibbs felt like he had way more than 45 yards in a touchdown. And that's part of the reason why the Lions stalled out is they went away from that running game. I mean, they were running rampant on the 49ers early on. Even with this great front seven, the 49ers, they were nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. Ben Johnson had it going in that first half. But that second half, just abandoned it. Similar to the Ravens. Forgot how to run the ball, and they paid the piper. All right, and boy, did they pay the piper. But Dan Campbell kicked the field goal, bro. Next time you're in this situation, I don't care about standing on business. I don't care about the principle. This is about winning championships. And sometimes you got to make the smart play rather than going for it all. Because sometimes that smart play will put you in a position to have it all. They didn't do that, so they paid. 49ers get the win. They are now kings of the NFC again. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the Roundup Aussie Open. I said Djokovic. I said Novak looked unstoppable last week. And, Carlitos, he's fallen off a little bit since that Wimbledon win. Like I said, seems like he used up all his powers. Still trying to regenerate right now. But we were wondering, like, who else in Carlitos' generation is going to step up? Who's going to step up to the bait? Or is Carlitos, after Joker is done, is just going to run the show? Jedek Center, who a lot of us have penciled in as maybe one of those guys, say, you know what? It's time. And boy, did he elevate. He elevated here in the Australian Open, took out the greatest of all time, and then comes back from 2 sets down against Daniil Medvedev and wins his first ever major and wins the Australian Open in 5 sets. Shout out to Carrot Boy, Carrot Man. Shout out to Janik. All right, congratulations to Sinner. Yeah, long time coming. Been one of the top prospects, if you want to call him a prospect, in tennis for a very, very long time. And yeah, it was fun to see somebody else from Carlitos' generation finally step up to the plate, get it done, show a glimpse of what the future of tennis could look like. So yeah, shout out to Sinner. Congrats on the huge win. Sabalenka wins her second straight. She won her second straight Australian Open. I don't think she dropped a single set this entire Aussie Open. Somebody can fact check, but I think they said she didn't drop a single set. All right. She wins in straights against Zhang here for, like I said, her second consecutive. She has firmly planted herself, at least on hard court, as one of the best players in the world. So yeah, shout out to Sabalenka. In the NHL, the Oilers have won 16 straight. That is one away from tying the NHL record. Connor is now up to 67 points. That is tied for 4th in the league. The Oilers are rolling. And to tell you how bad they started the season, that still has them fighting for playoff position. Crazy. Crazy. You can win 16 games and you're not even close to the Presidents. Not even close. But whatever it was that happened 16 games ago, they got it together. McDavid and Dry got these boys rolling. We will see if they can break the record next week. But yeah, Oilers still on fire. Austin Matthews is perpetually on fire. He is the first man to 40 goals this year. Beat the All-Star break to that. So yeah. Like we said earlier, man, this could be one of them seasons. One of them seasons for Austin, man. One of those legendary seasons. 600 points, by the way, for a career for Austin. For the best American-born player in the league today. So yeah, shout out to the boy. He's running the 6 right now. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is it for episode 182. I hope you guys enjoyed. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ocho signing off.